Allegiance. Mrs. Morris Smith, would you please call the roll?
Patrick Wright.
Here.
Michael Dye. Here. Ronald Sims.
Here.
William Hutton.
Here.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Here.
Vance Vitale.
Here.
Thomas Daverton.
Here.
Marcus Taylor. Dean Button.
Here.
8 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Commissioners, you should receive in your board packet a copy of the meeting minutes for May 19th, 2025. The chair would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Moved by Commissioner Dye, seconded by Commissioner Hutton. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Wright.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Yes.
Vance Vitale.
Yes.
Thomas Daverton.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is old business. Any old business?
There is no old business.
Thank you. Item 5 is new business. First petition is CP 25-05, a petition of Hammond Mercantile Plaza LLC for approval of a one-lot subdivision of Hammond Briar East Mercantile Plaza addition to the city of Hammond, located at 3514 169th Street, which is zoned C2 within the city of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana. Chair would ask if the notification requirements for the petition have been met.
Yes, they have. However, note for the record, the notice of affected property owner letters were mailed to property owners within 300 feet. However, the individual site addresses were not included in the letters.
I'm sorry, the individual site addresses were
Not included.
not included. I guess I would ask Mr. Westland, do you see any concern over the public notification requirements?
No, Brian, as long as this is the issue Brian and I spoke about earlier last week, I think it meets the state's, the notifications did meet the state statute, and you're okay to proceed legally.
Thank you, Mr. Westland. Petitioner, if they could come forward, state your name, sign in, your address, and present the petition to the Plan Commission, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jim Weiser. I'm the attorney for the project. My law offices are located at 429 West Lincoln Highway in Cherryville. And I have with me, I'm going to put my name in here, Russ Posen. And Russ is with the DVG team, the engineering firm, and he's the, whatever, he's got a big title, I can't keep track of it. But anyway, he's certainly the project manager for this project.
Thank you.
I'll just get this in real quick. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is a proposed project consisting of 2 petitions that we have before you this evening. The first petition being CP 2505, which is a request for a one-lot subdivision to the city of Hammond. The project is located at 3514 169th Street, so it's in the Briar Ridge area, the Briar Ridge shopping center area, and is actually proposed to replace the existing building that was there for many years that housed the bank and has been vacant for some period of time. So it's that lot only, which is about 0.7 acres. It's that lot only that we're asking to subdivide. So it presented some, I don't know if they were unique issues, but some interesting issues, particularly regarding a cross-access agreement. We needed that agreement for parking and an easement that runs along the property line for utilities. So there were some items that we obviously needed to work through with staff, and fortunately enough, we were able to do that. And we will be, I know one of the conditions that the staff had put on in the event that there's to be a successful passage of this would be that we provide the city with the recorded easements, which we will do. We'll have those easements recorded and provided to the city. So the idea is to have two businesses located there. One business would be a Dollar Tree. It's the larger of the two by far, and that's going to be located in the, now the building's going to be removed. The building's going to be raised, and there'll be a Dollar Tree that's going to be constructed, and then there's hopefully connected with that will be some type of a restaurant that will have a drive-through. And there was a lot of work that was done on that as well to make sure that we configured it so that the traffic flow was appropriate and wasn't and wouldn't cause, or at least was designed not to cause any unusual problems or concerns. I did want to make one point that the subdivision plat, given that the property line went out to the center line of 169th. So in order to properly provide for an accurate plat to be made, we are including in this, we'll either dedicate or rededicate whatever's required, the half street of 169th to provide for that, so that the city has that now and for sure without any question in their inventory. There's appropriate and existing utilities there. I probably am not the person to be discussing that or in any great detail or answering any questions. That's why we've got Russ here. He knows that stuff, and he'll be glad to answer any questions that you have regarding that. It's our belief that this will be a significant improvement to that area, to bring in a new business, or actually two new businesses, to generate the tax dollars that the businesses will generate. There's no request here for any type of incentive, tax abatement or anything. We're not requesting that. It's just a matter of putting in a brand new business and a brand new building that we think will be an asset to the community and an asset to that particular area. Having said all that, that's pretty much the overview. I'll talk more about the next one, the development plan 2506, and be happy to answer any questions that any members of the Planning Commission may have, or the staff, and probably will acknowledge that that will be Russ that will be making those responses. So thanks for your time, and then we'll try to respond to anything that we can.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser. Any questions from the commissioners to the petitioner? Any questions? I would just note, I noticed that in your letter to the commission that this is a $2.5 million plus investment.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So
Yeah, thanks
just
for
wanted to
mentioning
make
that,
note of that.
Dean. I meant to do that. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Mr. Poland.
staff has a question.
Mr. Poland.
Mr. Weiser, in your opening remarks, I think you misspoke on something.
Okay.
You talked about that basically you referred to the the existing agreement on the shopping center and shared access, but you said shared parking, and I think that's incorrect, because we've already discussed that there wasn't a shared parking agreement, which is why we're talking about going to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I said I didn't mean that. It isn't shared parking. We have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals to obtain that. You're right, exactly as you stated, and I apologize for having made that statement.
Yeah, and then I think what the access easements that we're talking about also cover utility that crosses the property, because you have utilities going from this site over to the O'Reilly property and then out to the street. So it's access and utilities
That's
that
correct.
that the agreements are
Yeah,
for.
no, that's correct.
Is that all, Mr. Poland?
Yeah, I have comments that I'll hold off till later.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Weiser.
Okay, thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Yep. At this point in time, we're going to open it up for a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on behalf of this petition, either in favor, in opposition, or just to make a comment on this petition, the chair would entertain that opportunity now. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now open. Anyone online wishing to address the commission on this petition? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Assume there's no further comment you have, Mr. Weiser, at this time?
Not on this particular.
Okay, yes, thank you. At this point in time, I turn it over to Mr. Poland for staff comments and recommendation.
Yeah, I just want to address a couple of things so the Plan Commission's aware. As Mr. Weiser indicated, one of the items on the subdivision plat is the proper dedication of the portion of 169th Street that's adjacent to on the north side of this property. This is an existing parcel, tax parcel. This is, in essence, converting the legal description into the proper format. One of the advantages of the C2 shopping center district requirements in the zoning ordinance allows the Plan Commission to make a couple of modifications that would otherwise have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The first thing is establishing that the outlots on this shopping center district, and to note that the shopping center district includes the large parcel with the miscellaneous buildings and units in there. It includes the Sharks Restaurant, the O'Reilly property, the gas station, and the church that's located off of Grand Avenue. The minimum lot size requirement is 4 acres, but it allows the Plan Commission to accept smaller lot sizes as long as the outlots or the smaller lots collectively are less than 40% of the entire shopping center boundary area. And this is pretty close. It's slightly above 40%, but it's negligible when it comes about from the math standpoint. I've already made reference to the street. I made reference to the cross-access and sanitary district easements. There's also an easement that is actually on the O'Reilly property. It was a cross-access easement that was set at the time that the O'Reilly lot was created, and the agreement also modifies that boundary and extends it to touch the southern boundary of the O'Reilly lot, which is also corresponding to the southern boundary of the subject property. I can go ahead and go to staff report?
Sure.
Okay. We did not receive any objections from all the review agencies. Staff's opinion is that the plat meets the requirements set forth in the subdivision control ordinance and recommends that the Plan Commission grant preliminary and final approval of the subdivision plat, subject to the completion of any technical corrections of the plat and the proposed easement documents, and the recordation of the easement documents before the recording of the subdivision plat. If the Plan Commission agrees with the staff report, it is recommended that the staff report is adopted as findings of fact.
Questions from the commission to staff?
Mr. President,
Yes,
I just
Mr.
wanted-
Casimir's back.
just to make sure I understand. So the O'Reilly building and the bank building were one plot, and now we're splitting the O'Reilly off?
No.
Is that what I?
No. The O'Reilly lot was actually a part of the main property, and it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, that the O'Reilly lot was created and the Hammond Briar East Shopping Center addition was created that time, and it excluded the Sharks building and the former Mercantile Bank building that was there, and I think it was Harris or whatever it became after that point. So this subject property has always been separately identified as its own tax parcel, and we're just, the subdivision is specific to that parcel.
Gotcha.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to grant preliminary and final approval of the subdivision plat, subject to the completion of any technical corrections to the plat and the proposed easement documents, and recordation of the easement documents before recording the subdivision plat. Is there such a? Thank you, Mr. Taberton. Seconded by Commissioner Dye. It's been moved and properly seconded for the subject motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Pratt.
Yes.
Michael Dodd.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Caspier,
Yes.
Dan Scatali.
Yes.
Thomas Davenport.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Thank you. Congratulations. Plan Commission, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the staff report be adopted as a finding of fact. Thank you, Mr. Taberton. Seconded by Councilman Spitali. It's been moved and properly seconded for the staff report to be adopted as a finding of fact. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Pratt.
Yes.
Michael Dodd.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Caspier,
Yes.
Dan Scatali.
Yes.
Thomas Davenport. Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Congratulations on your petition. Item 5, carrying on with new business, CP 25-06, petition of Mercantile Plaza LLC for the approval of a development plan in a C2 shopping district located at 3514 169th Street within the city of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Mr. Boland.
just to make a technical correction, it should say petition of Hammond Mercantile Plaza.
Thank you. The agenda item will be corrected or as noted. Mrs. Morris-Smith, have the notification requirements for the petition been met?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Petitioner can please make a presentation to the Plan Commission. Mr. Weiser.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm still Jim Weiser, and my offices are still the same. Just thought I'd let you know. I just want to make one comment initially, and that is that, as you know, your staff does a very thorough job of reviewing all of this and working with us. That's the key thing, and working with us to make sure that everything is appropriate and proper and meets all of your subdivision ordinance requirements and other requirements. And in this particular case, I did want to let you know it is in the staff recommendation, but I did want to let you know that we did, because this is an area, a redevelopment area, we went to we appeared before the Redevelopment Commission on April 15th, but I apologize, I just noticed this now, but it says 2020, and I think that meant 2025. Brian, on page 2, where it says staff recommendation, that's April 15th, 2025.
On the subdivision one?
No, I'm sorry, Brian, this is on the development plan on CP 25-06 on page, is it 2? Maybe it's 3. Page 3, I apologize, page 3.
Sure, thank you for that correction.
Okay, yeah, and I should have told, I would have told you earlier had I noticed it, but I just noticed it now coming up here. And of course, the development plan includes a lot of what we discussed in the subdivision plan, but I thought that some of the important things to highlight is that we've included in there the appropriate landscaping, appropriate screening, the exterior architectural features to be compliant with your requirements and consistent with the adjoining properties that are located in that particular area. It says that preliminary signage information and lighting meet the applicable provisions of the C2 Shopping Center District and the zoning ordinance, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that as well. The development plan, as I stated before, includes pretty much everything that was contained in the subdivision plan presentation that I previously made. As I said before, the plan is the building is to consist of 2 uses, both of which we believe will be great additions to the community and that particular area, to the city in general, in terms of the large retailer that is going to be using it, and hopefully the restaurant service that is going to be using it, both of which we think are good additions to that, to the east side of the city and to the Hessville community, where for the first 12 years of my life I hung around in. So I'm pretty familiar with that area, having grown up in Woodmar, but hung around there when I went to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. They wouldn't let me into St. John Bosco. They knew what I was like, so they forced me to go there. But so I'm really familiar with the area, and I think this is a great addition. The cross access easements, as Brian pointed out before, are going to provide access to 169th, and we will be, as I said, recording those documents and preparing for them. We had a lot of discussion with both Brian and Tom regarding how the internal traffic pattern was going to work, the way that it was laid out, and with our engineers as well. I know Brian was on several of those, and I was on several of those Teams calls, and we also had one, or can't remember, at least one, if not 2 meetings with Brian and Tom personally. And that was an issue that was a challenge, quite frankly, to make sure that it was correct and it worked, and that it wouldn't create traffic concerns or traffic problems, backups, things of that nature. And so there was a lot of time spent in the development plan on working on that and working that out. So I'd say, having said that, and having already presented on the subdivision, I'm again happy to answer any questions, and then would obviously let Brian make his comments as well.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser. Questions from the commission to Mr. Weiser? Sure, Mr. Kazimir Zach.
Was there any concern that at that location, this will be like the 3rd store at that location, that relatively close to that intersection of this type of retail location?
And you mean concerns in like its success or something? Or
Well, because there's 2 other, what everybody, I guess, we consider dollar stores right there. Is there a concern that the competition could either lead to this store not performing as well, or one of the other stores losing, and then there's and then they go out of business or anything like that? Or have there been any, I don't know if that's been looked at all, if there's any.
I can say I haven't had that direct conversation with my client, but I can say that I know that they investigated that and looked at that at the outset and came to the conclusion that it was going to work and be very successful. The whys and the wherefores, I candidly have to tell you, I don't know, but I know that they said that, well, let me back up just for a second. This client has successfully done this throughout the Midwest, very successfully. And we have examples of the success that they've had in the city of Hammond, one, but also in neighboring communities. Several in Maryville, trying to think of the ones we provided. There were, I think, 5 altogether. But they know their business, and they know their demographics, and they know their traffic patterns. And based on all of that, I know that they concluded that this was going to be a successful venture for them. I can't comment on what exists already, but I know that to be the case.
Any other questions for Mr. Weiser? Brian Boland, go ahead.
It's not fair that you get to ask questions.
Goes with the territory. If I remember correctly, this same petitioner also did the O'Reilly site.
That's correct.
Yeah. And, gee, I forgot my other question. Well, if I think of it, I'll come up with it.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Weiser? I appreciate your early comment about how we try to be, very thorough in what we do, and we just want the project to be successful all around, I think, for the city and for your client, and so I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Totally understand, and I mean, you've got to do what's the right thing, and you've got to be compliant, and nothing gets away from Brian. We all know that, so
Yes, sir.
it was good.
Just remember my other question.
Oh,
I stalled too long, sorry.
Just for confirmation, the second unit is the restaurant drive-through. At least that's what your client's trying to go for, but at this point, they have no tenant identified.
that's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this point in time, we open it up for a public hearing on this petition. So is there anyone in the audience wishing to make comment in favor or in opposition to the petition as presented? Anyone wishing to comment on the petition? Anyone online wishing to comment on the petition? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. At this point in time, we'll turn it over to staff for a staff report.
Okay, just again to identify some items from the staff report. Also, in the C2 Shopping Center District provisions of the zoning ordinance, it does allow the Plan Commission to modify the setbacks on the property rather than going to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The way the ordinance is structured right now, the building has to be set back 50 feet from all property lines. And since the other part of what we're allowed to do is have those lots smaller than 4 acres, based on what I discussed under the subdivision plat, it's kind of interrelated that if you have a smaller lot, and obviously they would not be able to meet the 50-foot setbacks. This was understood when that provision was written in the zoning ordinance that we would have these circumstances of where the Plan Commission is granting allowances for reduction of the setbacks and things like that. It's not technically a variance, it's just an allowed reduction. And, and I appreciate Mr. Weiser's comments because we try to be very thorough, and things do slip by us. We're not perfect. But, we've gone through all of the landscaping, the lighting, the preliminary signage, and have identified that at this stage, there is a need to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the number of parking spaces And for this drive-through, it also needs a conditional use approval by the BZA. So assuming the Plan Commission grants approval of this, that would be the next step, is to then go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I think the advantages of this particular development, which realistically makes it easier, is that it is a pre-existing parcel. It had a building on it. The new building is not substantially different in size as to the bank building. The bank also had its ATM drive-through, so there's a lot of commonalities with this. The reason I made reference in the subdivision part of it of this cross-access easement that's on the O'Reilly property, it was created at the time of the O'Reilly subdivision because the bank's ATM was kind of crossing this property line, and to use the ATM, one would have to drive on the now O'Reilly property, and this access easement is situated in such a way that the part of the drive-through lane would have to cross into that property, or at least the, and Mr. Button, don't overreact, the bypass lane that is there is technically on the O'Reilly property, and it makes that traffic flow a lot more convenient and makes sense. We had, again, as Mr. Weiser indicated, we had a lot of discussion of where the loading dock is and how that flows through the property, and it was fun. I have to say, this was fun to have all those conversations and try and figure out how to make this work. That being said, the staff recommends that the Plan Commission approve the final development plan and the modifications to the area width and setback requirements for the proposed 2-unit commercial building, subject to 1, the final technical review and approval of the plans by city staff, 2, approval of any actions that may be required by the Board of Zoning Appeals, and 3, approval of the Plan Commission case for 2505 and its conditions.
So conclude your presentation, Mr. Poland?
Well, I'm asking for the first motion, and then I'll do the findings of fact
Okay.
part of it.
Questions for Mr. Poland on his report?
Mr. President,
Mr. Kazmierzak.
how many, just out of curiosity, how many parking spaces is it actually short of the requirement?
Tom, do you remember the number?
22.
So it's pretty significant.
So Russ Posen, DVG, 1155 Troutline Road, Crumpton, Indiana.
Thank you.
Per the required parking, it's 47, and 25 spaces are provided.
And you
But we
said
are
there-
confident that will function properly.
And then I believe on the first order of business, you did state there is no shared parking agreement.
In the current common, the common area agreement, they're not allowed to park on the other property. I have to say, practically speaking, I think people will be parking on the adjacent property. That's pretty much, people will do what people will do, but technically they don't have a right to do that.
Mr. Posen, would you make sure you sign in for us so we have a record of your details? Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Poland? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the final development plan and the modifications to the area and width and setback requirements for the proposed 2-unit commercial building, subject to 1, final technical review and approval of the plans by city staff, 2, approval of any actions that may be required by the Board of Zoning Appeals, and 3, approval of Plan Commission case number CP 25-05 and its conditions. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Dabberton, seconded by Commissioner Dye. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Brown.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Yes.
Dan Spitali.
Yes.
Thomas Davenport. Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Poland.
Yeah, just like for everybody to understand, the development plan provisions of the zoning ordinance are different when it comes to findings of fact, and that's why we have this section here. Staff recommends that the Plan Commission adopt the staff report, and I'm going to say as modified due to the comment that Mr. Weiser made on the date of the redevelopment meeting as findings of fact, and also make the following findings of fact. Under 2705A1, the development plan complies with the applicable provisions of Title 8 C2 Shopping Center District in the zoning ordinance 8514 as amended. Staff recommends the development plan be approved in the proposed area with requirements per Title Section 8.30 and the proposed setbacks per Title Section 8.31. Then under 27.05A2, the Hammond Briar East Mercantile Plaza addition is compliant with the subdivision control ordinance. Under 2705A3, the proposed development is compatible with the adjacent development. And under 2705A4, the proposed development is consistent with the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance 8514 and the comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Mr. Taberton. Do I hear a second?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Dye. It's been moved and properly seconded to adopt the staff report as modified as a finding of fact and the list of following findings of fact as conveyed by Mr. Poland. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Roger Brown.
Yes.
Michael Dye.
Yes.
Ronald Sims.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Thomas Kazmierzak.
Yes.
Dan Spitali.
Yes.
Thomas Davenport. Dean Button.
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Congratulations to the petitioner. We appreciate your business. Thank you. Okay, is there any other new business?
No new business.
Hearing none. Item 6, correspondence.
No correspondence.
Item 7 is commissioners' comments. Well, have a happy 4th of July when it comes upon you. And there's a holiday this week, Juneteenth. So enjoy and celebrate appropriately. Item 8 is staff comments.
Yes, I just acknowledge, I think at the last Plan Commission meeting, I said there wasn't anything for June, and obviously I was wrong. And so I will say that barring any unforeseen, unexpected comments, whatever, we will not have a July Plan Commission meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Poland. Item 9 is public comment. Anyone in the audience or online wishing to address the Plan Commission at this time? Any comments? Any comments? Public comment is now closed. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I heard Mr. Dye and Mr. Kazimierzak as a motion and a second. All in favor?